Okay, so good evening. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Merriger, and as a lot of you know already, that I'm the recruiting officer here for the Virginia Tech Corps of Cadets, and I'm so glad that you were able to join us tonight. Also joining me tonight is Miss Taylor Cupp, who is the Assistant Recruiting Officer, which I know some of you have met as well, and also Miss Katie Carr from VT Dining Services, and she's going to kick us off tonight talking a little bit about dining services at Virginia Tech. So I'm going to turn it over to Katie.
Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here this morning. Um, I, or this evening, sorry. I did want to come on and talk a little bit about dining services and what to expect during New Cadet Week, as well as a few things to think about as you move into the semester with dining services, especially if you have allergens. Rewa, you can go ahead and advance the slide, please. Okay, so it is really important when you come in for New Cadet Week that you identify yourself as someone who has an allergen to your leader and as well to my staff. Staff and dining services have been trained how to handle allergens, and we are FAIR certified. It's important to remember that you and your student are in charge of their allergens and making sure that they can eat safely. We don't know if you have an allergen if you don't tell us. There are cards for each of the menu items that we serve, and it will list the allergens if there are any in that item. However, we can better assist you if we know that you have an allergen. When you come up and we greet you, you can just say, hey, I have a gluten allergen. We would also probably put you in touch with a chef so that we can make sure that there's something safe for you to eat. Again, you have to identify. I know you'll be nervous and there's a lot going on during cadre, but talk to us so we can help you. That's our job. We want to make sure that you get plenty of nutritious food during New Cadet Week. It's very important, but we want to make sure that you have safe food as well. So like I said, all of our menu items will be labeled for you during New Cadet Week with the top 9 allergens that they contain. However, after New Cadet Week, when you are allowed to have your phones again and you're eating during the semester, we have lots of technology that will be able to assist you to eat safely. Rewa, you can advance. Dining.vt.edu contains almost everything you need to know about dining services, meal plan policies, prices, breakdowns. It also contains a link to the hours of operation for all of our facilities. And it also has a link to our menu. I'll also take this time to say there is a Hokie Dining app that you can download. It is the same menu on the app that you would see on the website. It'll list the menus for each of our dining facilities each day. And it's a great way to use that app, that website, to filter for the stuff you can eat safely. Rewa, you can advance. So this is a screenshot of what the app and the website look like. You would just select where you're eating, and then you can go to an allergen filter and select contains, does not contain. And once you filter, it'll show everything that does not contain gluten or soy or whatever you put in. It also will show halal, vegetarian, and vegan items. And then when you go into each of our dining facilities, once we open for the semester, we identify those items with allergens on our NutriSlice menus. They are at most of the shops so that you can know, oh, I'm going to eat the rotisserie chicken and it's free of X, Y, and Z. So that's a simple, easy way to help you find something safe. Again, after New Cadet Week, when you go into a dining facility, if you're unfamiliar with foods or you are concerned about an allergen, please let us know. It is important that we serve you safely and we do everything we can to prevent any cross contact to make sure the food you eat is safe. Rewa, you can advance. This has a little bit, it has the email address you see, yes, yes@vt.edu, is a way to get in touch with the 2 registered dietitians that we have on staff and dining services. They can help you navigate our dining facilities and help you find items to eat that do not contain your allergens. They can also answer questions about certain dietary needs, halal, vegan, gluten-free, and vegetarian options as well. I will use this time to say that a lot of students use Grubhub during this semester, and that's great. But please, if you have an allergen, note that in the special requests in Grubhub. That way we know you have an allergen. Say you're allergic to peanut butter and you're going to order at Jamba Juice. We'll make sure to change our gloves and do everything we can to prevent any peanut butter or cross contact getting into your smoothie. Again, it's your responsibility to make sure you do this so we can safely serve you. A little note about MREs. During New Cadet Week, Cadre Week, you will be out in the field and be eating MREs. Each of the items in the MRE are individually labeled with their ingredients. So it's going to be important that you read each of those to find out if it contains your allergen. We do not make those in-house. We source them, so we don't have control over the allergens. I do believe there's a gluten-free one and a vegetarian one. And you can ask for those when you come through the line. Again, please just identify that you have an allergen so we can make sure we have food that is safe for you to eat. Once I'm done, Rewa's going to talk about a survey that she's going to ask you to fill out. Please fill out that survey with any and all dietary preferences, allergens, especially if you have one that is not in the top 9, because we can take action ahead of time to make sure there's something safe for you to eat if we know about it. And it's harder to do on the spur of the moment that first meal you're with us. So, again, I'm Katie Carr. I work at Turner Place at Lavery Hall. I'm the assistant director. So I will be in the facilities with you while you're dining with us during New Cadet Week. So please feel free to ask me questions or say you need to talk to a chef. That is what we're here for. And that is all I have. Are there any questions so far for me? Oh. Okay, so someone asked, it was their first town hall, when and where do the cadets eat during New Cadet Week? They will eat at Turner Place at Lavery Hall. We are only open for cadets and to dine with us. We have a schedule. I don't know exact times off my head, but you'll be eating with us lunch, breakfast, and dinner. And if you're not eating with us, you're probably eating in the field and eating an MRE. So you can look up information about Turner Place on Lavery Hall on dining.vt.edu. During Cadre Week, we will not be putting the menus online. You also won't be able to access them as you will not have your phones. So again, that is why you need to talk to us. Again, once you're able to have your phones and access the app and or the web page, it gets a little simpler, especially to navigate what you want to eat and use those filters. There's a question about, do cadets eat together most of the time or only evenings? Are you talking during the school year or just during New Cadet Week? During the school year, a lot of the cadets eat together. I'm not privy to the inner workings of the cadets' requirements their first semester on campus. I just know that a lot of cadets eat with us at Turner Place as we are very close to the upper quad where the cadets live. So I do see a lot of them eat breakfast with us. I do believe the app is available on Android. I have an iPhone and I don't live the Android life, so I'm sorry. However, if it's not on Android, the website is mobile browser friendly. I use it quite frequently. So Mr. Felton, I can look into that. I'll make a note. Yeah. So any other questions? Okay. All right. But yeah, any questions related to dining, please email yes@vt.edu. They'll be able to point you in the right direction or give you the answers. And I appreciate the Corps of Cadets letting me have a few minutes on tonight to talk about allergens during New Cadet Week. Again, please self-identify so we can make sure you get safe food during your times with us.
Thank you very much for sharing with us. Again, don't forget to, families use these resources. They are excellent. Students use these resources. During New Cadet Week, we will be taking you to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or providing you an MRE if we're out in the field, usually over the lunch hour. But once the school year starts, these are outstanding resources for you to use, and I highly recommend getting on there and getting familiar with them before the school year starts. So thank you, Katie, for sharing your information with us. Okay, so moving on. Now we're going to talk about preparing to arrive. I know orientation has started. There are a lot of things that we are getting started as we meet with families. We're hearing different questions. So I wanted to cover just a few things. One is this survey that was mentioned. The more you tell us ahead of time, the more we can help you. And we're here to help you. So life is about to get a little bit exciting and it's going to get a little bit chaotic. And the more we can do ahead of time to help you feel like your needs are being met and that you know what you've told us these made all your food allergies, or if you have severe medical allergies, please tell us any religious requirements that you have, especially including any food or hair coverings that we need to know about. Any of your medical issues that are going to affect your ability to participate fully in New Cadet Week, let us know. They aren't do or die, right? Like they're not, you can't participate if you have something, right? It's more that we need to know so we know what to alter for you so you can participate in New Cadet Week the best that you can without us putting you at any risk. All right. So also, if you identify differently than your sex at birth, please contact me, Lieutenant Colonel Manager, all right, so that I can talk one-on-one with you, and we'll talk about uniforms, room assignments, and preferred restrooms, and anything else that you have questions about. I definitely like to help one-on-one in those kinds of scenarios. But bottom line, if you can tell us and tell us early, we can start finding the resources that you need and figuring these things out during New Cadet Week. So before we get to New Cadet Week. So there's a link to the survey here. This is an assignment on Canvas. So all I did was pull the link from the assignment on Canvas. So students, you have access to this as an assignment on Canvas. And it asks you for your allergies. But if families want to get on here, this link will be available. And we are recording this presentation. So hopefully we'll be able to share that with you later as a YouTube, and we'll put some of these links into the description. Okay. So moving on, if this is the first town hall that you're joining us with, just want to talk about how do we get everyone caught up so that we can get you where you need to be for the start of the school year. Probably the most important right here up front right now is we need you to be allowed to attend. We need to know that you have logged on to your financial aid and you've seen that. The bursar bill has been paid. Those will start coming out, I believe, on the 10th of July. So they're not mailed, right? They're available online. You, as the student, get an email and then you log into Hokie Spa, and you can get in to see your bill. Okay. And then remember that information getting shared with your family is not automatic, including bills, almost especially bills, right? So make sure your family knows your FERPA code and if they have any questions and they need to talk to anyone. You need to have clothes to wear, being fitted for your uniforms, very important. Having a place to live, make sure you've completed your housing contract. Be able to access your room, so you can't get into your room or your meal plan or any of that without a Hokie passport. So I can't emphasize enough how important that Hokie passport is. Um, be medically ready. This everyone's lagging on, and I need you guys to really put some effort in here. We've got to get those core physicals in. We need them uploaded so that the doctor has time to review them. Right now, we have one doctor basically who's reviewing all of the core physicals. He's amazing, but that's a lot to ask of any one person. So he needs more time to make this happen. And I need more of you to get in there and get your core physicals uploaded, including your insurance. Hopefully nothing would ever happen, but if it does, we need that stuff in place so that you can have the hospital, for example, can have access to your insurance so they don't just bill you the full bill and then it takes 6 months to figure it out. Okay. Having it up there helps later with bigger problems. So, and the core physical, we need to understand what some of your issues might be. If you've had recently, knee surgeries, shoulder surgeries, anything that you're kind of dealing with, please tell us so that we know ahead of time and the doctor has time to review it. I know you're working hard on your class schedules. Your books will come later. But it's time to be working on that and getting your class requests in. Make sure you're militarily ready. We've got to have a haircut. We've got to have the proper check-in uniform. You need to bring anything you need for your core paperwork. Oh, sorry, all this didn't go through. And then we need you to be mentally ready, right? Be having conversations with your family about what the expectations are for this upcoming semester and year, knowing that we're going into a core environment, knowing that, hey, there may be some moments where we're not so sure about all this, right? And what do we do? What do we do at that moment? I mean, it says so much about character. What do you do at that moment? But if you've had that conversation ahead of time with your family, sometimes that helps, right? Being able to work through this. Everything else we can work through if we need to, but if you can cover these major issues, we'll find that this transition will go a lot smoother. On July 16th, sorry about that. Bursar bill will be on July 16th. My apologies. Okay. Immunizations, it was due June 30th. There is the $100 late fee for not getting this done. However, I know that they are typically pretty slow to actually bill you. They will if you don't get it done, but need to get it done. And you still have a little bit of a window here to get your immunizations uploaded to Schiffert. Now, this has nothing to do with us per se. This is a university requirement for every student coming into Virginia Tech. But we want to take care of cadets and we don't want you guys to get this $100 late charge. So please get your stuff up, get all of your immunizations uploaded as soon as possible. We will talk about that. There is one more thing that said we need to bring core paper to orientation, and then we also move in on August 16th. Is it both? Okay, so we do need to bring core paperwork to orientation because we need that ahead of time. There will also be paperwork that the ROTCs will want to see in person. And some of that you may bring to actual check-in. So we have two things going on. We have new cadet check-in. That's when you move onto campus on August 16th. And then right now, here in July, we're doing core orientation where you're coming for a day and you're learning more about the core plus cleaning up some things that maybe weren't done yet. So we'll have the commandant talk to you, a whole bunch of other stuff. Dress code for orientation, we're going to cover more here in a second. So let's move through. All right, so the link is here. Go to the health center, make sure you get your immunization forms uploaded, and make sure that you're getting that done as soon as possible if you haven't already. Clothes to wear, if you did not sign up for core orientation session and did not sign up for a time to be fit on the 14th or 15th, so you can come in a day or 2 days early if you're not attending orientation. If you have arranged with me, Lieutenant Colonel Manager, right? So core at vt.edu or our manager at vt.edu or Miss Cup, which is, oh boy, I'm not even gonna guess. I think it's Taylor W at vt.edu. Any of those emails, if you have not arranged with us ahead of time to arrive a day or two early, right now you'd probably need to stay in a hotel during those 2 days, but you could come early, we can get you fitted, and then you'll move in on the 16th with us. If you're absolutely unable to do that, we can probably fit you during check-in or the Monday of New Cadet Week, but you will start New Cadet Week without your uniforms. So that gets a little bit complicated. We'll have to just hand you a pair of ACU pants and a t-shirt and hope it all fits, and then try to get you in some boots before New Cadet Week starts. So we'll do our best, but know that that's not the optimum way to start this program. So if you are in any of these scenarios, please reach out to us if you're not coming for orientation. But if you do, your uniforms will be hanging in your closet, ready for you when you get here. If you've not completed your housing contract, this is absolutely critical. You need to email us as soon as possible. We are, the university, you may have heard, is running a little over right now. They are looking at all of their housing options, and they always eye the core pretty closely, looking for rooms. And so the more we can make sure that we've got all cadets taken care of and all cadets have a housing contract, so that we can make assignments and kind of have a boundary that we can put with housing for civilian students, that is helpful. So anyone who's not completed your housing contract yet, you need to contact us as soon as possible. You'll be able to see room assignments around the first week of August. I know we're putting out August 2nd. I want you to, take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. We may get it done by the 2nd of August. It may take StarRes a little bit of time to push that all out, because they have to hand enter all of these assignments for 1,200 plus cadets. So know that that sometimes takes a little while. So I would say first week of August, maybe not necessarily August 2nd, but you'll look on StarRes under housing contract and then the application summary, and you'll be able to see your room assignment. We will, once we've made those assignments and everything kind of settles down, because there's always a little bit of turbulence there as we start to post things and things need changing. But once that settles down, I will email you an unloading/parking pass. It's really an unloading pass just to help the folks point you to the right place where you need to unload your stuff. And then as soon as you've unloaded, you're going to hop back in the car and you're going to move the car to a parking spot in the North End Center. But you get a paper unloading pass that helps with that check-in process. And then they will hand you an actual parking pass that will cover the cost of parking in the North End Center. So you won't have to pay the $8. And then parking on August 16th, again, we'll issue you that parking pass to cover the $8 charge. So you will be able to park in the North End Center parking garage for free on check-in day. Your Hokie Passport is your card to everything, to writing the BT, for your meal plan, for your extra cash to run the laundry machines, to get into your room, to get into your building, right? Like, I can't tell you how much this is really important. You must activate it though, in order for it to work. So we will activate it when you arrive on campus for new cadet check-in on August 16th. And so you will need to bring 2 forms of ID with you to check in. Your Hokie Passport, if it was mailed to you. If it wasn't, you're not a domestic student, right? You live overseas. It's not mailed overseas because it's considered, you can actually vote with this ID. Okay. So we're not mailing this thing overseas. So if you're an overseas student, it won't have been mailed to you, but we will have it available for you to pick up at the check-in desk with the Hokie Passport officer. So they will check your IDs, and we need you to bring a U.S. state issued driver's license or an international passport. U.S. issued works, of course, and a United States military ID, and it can be a dependent ID. So you have to have at least one of these, plus you have to have at least 2 of these, I guess, with you, your Hokie Passport and one of these or 2 of these. Okay. So make sure 2 of these or this one and one of these you have to bring with you when you come to orientation, or sorry, when you do new cadet check-in. Again, new cadet check-in. All right, medical readiness. We need you to upload your core physical, your medical history, your mental health form, and your insurance card to the Schiffert Health Portal as soon as possible. The doctor needs time to review it. It could potentially cost you up to $65 to have one completed during New Cadet Week. We'd prefer not to do that. We'd prefer you get that done before you arrive. And please don't delay any, sometimes people hold it back with good intentions, right? They're like, oh, I've got this issue and I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. Please just get it uploaded. It's more important it's in there. And then we do a missing item survey, and we do a last minute medical update. So if you can get that to us, um, that will help us get it started and get the doctor reviewing, and then we can update it with any up. Okay. Okay, hopefully you can hear me. I'm not 100% sure what just happened there. But hopefully we're all back. It says that I still have 74 participants, so I'm gonna go with it. All right, we're getting a thumbs up. Thank you. All right, I apologize. Okay. Um, so academic readiness, make sure you're at least from the core point of view, make sure you're signed up for two things as a cadet. One is a section of Management 1945, which is for all cadets in the Corps. This class there's a lab offered on Thursdays from 3:30 to 4:45. Okay, it looks like we have a raised hand. Hold on. Um, I'm not sure. Can you, if you can, Petrazula, can you put your question in the chat? That might help us, because right now I'm not able to find you. Okay. Um, but that class will have a Thursday lab that that all cadets in the Corps take. So you've got that one. That was 2 credits. And then you need to sign up for your track class, Army, Navy, Air Force, Citizen Leader Track. This is how you differentiate which one you're going into, is by which one you sign up for. So that's how you officially join that particular ROTC. And of course, I've got that handout to the Corps/ROTC class handout. Awesome. Okay, we're good. And then, so you can click here, you can find it on Canvas, right? And it can help you figure out which classes you need to sign up for ROTC. But for the Corps, we need everybody in Management 1945. I apologize. Last time I talked about this, I thought it would auto-fill to your schedule. But what it actually does is there's a drop down when you go in. Most of you have probably seen this already, where it offers Management 1945 and asks you to pick a section, right? And then you just pick a section that works with your schedule, but it will have a Thursday lab from 3:30 to 4:45. Huh. Well, I'm not sure about that. In terms of, it says, I would also note that cadet students should only have 25% of their classes online. I'm not sure about that rule. I've never really heard that, but obviously in person's a little bit better. So hopefully that's what you're signing up for. Okay. All right, Roger that. So if it is, it shouldn't be an issue for most students. Almost all classes are offered in person. Okay. We need you to arrive ready to go, right? So gentlemen, a lot of families in the past have told us that they really wanted to be there for the haircut. It was an important rite of passage, I guess, for a lot of students. So we're going to ask you to get your haircut before you arrive, and you'll arrive with a 0 haircut. 0 is there's nothing on the razor, it's just straight clippers. Okay, so the clipper then they just clipper your head. I do recommend a barber for this. I don't recommend doing this on your own. If you are a military family, maybe that your family's used to this, but that first one, that's a lot of hair coming off, and sometimes a barber knows how to do this safely, and I do recommend that. It may not be a bad idea to go 0 a little bit early. Some students do that so that they can put sunscreen on their heads and start getting their head a little bit more, that scalp that's never seen the sun directly before like this. Sometimes it's nice to, establish like a little bit of a base before you get here. Otherwise, you need to get used to thinking, okay, I got to put sunscreen on my head. Okay. It's not too late to turn in your physicals, but you need to get them in as soon as possible. Okay. Female cadets, if your hair extends below the bottom of your collar when you're wearing a collared shirt, so any shirt that has a collar will give you a good idea. But if your hair does not extend below the bottom of the collar, you can wear your hair down. If your hair is longer, you should put it in a ponytail at the base of your neck. And then you also need to make sure that you've cut it so that if you drew an imaginary line across the bottom of your shoulder blades, your hair, when in a ponytail, does not extend beyond that distance. Okay. And for check-in, please place your hair in a ponytail, bottom and centered at the back of your head. And you can use hair ties, barrettes, and pins, but please try to use ones that match your hair color as closely as possible. Or if you want to wear it without having to pull it back, you can get your hair cut so that it does not drop below the bottom of the collar of a collared shirt. For check-in, it is slightly different than last year, so please be aware you need to be using 2024's new cadet guide. It's khaki trousers with a black belt, not a brown belt this year, a black belt. Okay, a plain white crew neck t-shirt. This is different than the V-necks that you wear under your uniforms. This is a white crew neck t-shirt, white athletic socks, and your tennis shoes / running shoes. You need to make sure that you wear a belt and your shirt is tucked in. You need to remove all forms of piercings from ears and other places. Those all need to be removed before checking in. And again, when you come to check in, you'll need a copy of your academic schedule. So once you have that, go ahead and print that out. You'll want a printed copy of it so that the cadre can take you, they're going to take your company and they're going to go find all your buildings that you need to be in so that you can find them on campus during New Cadet Week. You'll need your Hokie passport if it was mailed to you. If not, it'll be available at check-in. Your additional ID so we can verify that Hokie passport and get that running. Your cell phone needs to be fully charged. You will be allowed to talk to your family, but it's got to be charged to make that happen. And I know sometimes that is a challenge when you're traveling. And then any missing core or ROTC paperwork that we're not able to collect during New Cadet check or during orientation, please bring that to New Cadet check-in. And any original IDs that the ROTCs are asking you for, if you're being asked to bring those, please make sure you bring the originals with you to New Cadet check-in. So I know that something that got said this week had a couple people twittering, so I wanted to address it. In the New Cadet Guide, there is a list of our closed weekends and our important dates. Lots of families are asking when you can come home, and the Commandant definitely mentioned Thanksgiving break, which is totally true. Fall break is only listed as a Friday, but it can be a 3-day weekend if your ROTCs don't have anything planned. So I thought I would go ahead and look at this a little bit more in depth for you. Okay, so here we are. Oops, sorry. There we go. Here we are looking now. August, life's pretty busy in August. It's not time to go home. You were home for 2 weeks in August before we got here, right? So we're going to call August good, and we're going to look at September. We do have no classes on Monday, September 2nd. Honestly, a lot of cadets catch up on their sleep during that time frame. And oh, by the way, no, you do not have to have a COVID vaccine to attend Virginia Tech. Okay, so Labor Day, a lot of students, especially freshmen, are happy to use that to get some sleep. So that's typically not a weekend. Plus, Citizen Leader Trek has some things going on that weekend. So not usually a time for a holiday. You can see we're going to jump right out of the gate with a game against Marshall. We're going to have our regimental inspection, which is a really big deal. Cadets, so this is your first regimental inspection. You're going to have a lot of learning to do to get ready for that. And then the next day, we're going to head out to the freshmen, and a couple cadre are going to head to the National D-Day Memorial. And that's a really fun trip and pretty amazing. Then we have family weekend. I know a lot of folks are asking us about family weekend. Please come with realistic expectations on family weekend. We're going to have a formal retreat. Usually that is 4:45 to about 5:15 formation up on Upper Quad at the VT. So your cadet will be required to be there. And then they could depart from there. If they've put in for family pass, they can go to dinner with you. That will be a crazy weekend for dining. in terms of just restaurants are just not going to be able to process that many people as quickly as you might hope. So do be aware of that, that if you decide to take the family to a restaurant, be aware that it may be somewhat slow service and, just plan for it. And then the football game the next morning, all cadets will need to be back by, and then they'll tell you on your leave sheet when you need to be back. It'll vary by company, but you have to be back by a certain time on Friday night to be ready for the football game on Saturday. And then, of course, the Corps attends this football game. So students, you'll be with us. And then after the football game ends, we go back to the residence halls. You can check out from there, and you can check out to your family until 6 o'clock on Sunday night. So you can stay overnight with your family here. So family fall weekend, absolutely an option. It's the Rutgers football game. Sadly, I think it's one they're claiming. They're saying I'm really excited. They said we're gonna be 10-2 this year. Maybe I heard Sports Illustrated said we could be 10-2 given our schedule. Knock on wood. Rutgers, unfortunately, is one that they're saying we're gonna lose, but it should still be a fun weekend to come in and see a Hokie football game. And then the next weekend, you'll notice, wow, on the calendar, there's nothing here. It's potentially an Army FTX. I say potentially because Army has it on the calendar, but this is me reading Army's calendar. I have no idea if it's actually accurate. So note that I have to say potentially because I don't know for sure. So I just want you to be aware, but it is potentially Army FTX that weekend. So that's really not an open weekend either. Then we go straight into the Caldwell March, a very important and milestone for you as new cadets. You're going to be looking forward to it. It's going to be a really fun experience. So you'll definitely be here for that. So if I were a parent looking at this and I was wondering when my student could come home, I would look at fall break. They have put protected on the calendar, which means that they're telling the ROTCs, hey, you need to stay off this weekend. So I think I can confidently say that that is a good weekend if you want to put in for leave. So you want to do that as soon as possible. Once your cadre teach you how to put in for a leave request, please do so. And I would do it for that weekend, knowing it's going to get kicked back a couple times. That way you're ready for it and you can get it up and passed. So you're ready for fall break on the 11th. But that you have fall break is no classes, but to go home, you'll have to put in one of your 2 leave requests so you can take a 3-day weekend. Then we, next weekend looks open. We've got a Thursday night football game against Boston College. I don't know if you've ever seen a Thursday night football game around here, but it is, I don't know. It's top of my list of favorite things in Blacksburg. There's fireworks. There's nothing like the Hokies on a Thursday night. So this is going to be an amazing game, but it also means we usually have an open weekend. And if you're looking at the core calendar that's linked to off our website, wow, it looks wide open. But you also need to know that potentially Navy has the Navy ball scheduled for the 19th. So I want you to be aware of that. We will be participating in a homecoming pass and review. So that's a parade. So we'll have a parade at 3:30 the following Friday. And then we'll have the Georgia Tech football game. Homecoming always has a lot of stuff going on. So know that that's a pretty busy weekend, but as most Sundays are available. So if your family comes into town for that, you can stay overnight after the football game with them until Sunday night at 6 p.m. The next weekend looks wide open again, but I want to warn you, that one looks super busy. We've got the Marines heading out on a field training exercise, the Coast Guard's heading out on a field training exercise, and Army has planned their ACFT or their physical fitness test. So again, not probably an open weekend for anything for most people. I copied that back over here. We've got football game versus Clemson. That should be exciting. Then we have Veterans Day. We do a lot for Veterans Day. It's one of the few things where we might have something on a Sunday night where you can sign up voluntarily. You can sign up if you want to stand watch at at the Rock or down at the pylons. So that's usually a big day. So we do have a lot going on there heading into Veterans Day. It does look wide open right here, but this is usually prep because academics get kind of crazy this week heading into Thanksgiving break where your professors are trying to get caught up. So that's usually a pretty big and a pretty busy but quiet weekend so you can get your studies done. You can depart after your last class or morning formation. you'll have to check with your chain of command for Thanksgiving break. So when you put in to go home, they will tell you when you're allowed to leave. But typically it's after your last class or after formation, depending on what the scenario is. If it is after formation, I just want you to know that that's for your safety. We want you to get a good night's sleep before you hit the road. So instead of like studying like mad, taking your last test and then jumping on the road at 9 o'clock at night, a lot of times the DEPCONs will determine that it's safer if everyone just stays, get some sleep, morning formation after about 7:30, then we cut everyone loose and then you have a chance to go. Then you can go home from there. And it's just about safety. So Thanksgiving break here, the UVA football game, I know a lot of people have been paying attention to this. It is not required for the core, but the band will be coming back for that game. Usually a fun game. UVA Virginia Tech rivalry is always a lot of fun, and it's going to be exciting this year from what I've heard. So be prepared, but that is not required for the core. So that is still break, so that you can come back on Sunday night by 6 p.m. Then we're in it, right? The game, we're in it to win it, heading into the last week of classes. And then finals, you have to depart within 24 hours of your last final. So the question always is, well, how do I figure out what my last final is? Well, this is a description of Management 1945 that I got off Hokie Spa. So if you go into the timetable of classes and you pull up, MGT 1945, this comes up, for example. And if I look all the way over here to the right, it says exam, and here it says 11M. If you click on that, a box will pop up in the upper left-hand corner, and there you can see that 11M stands for December 17th from 4:25 to 6:25 p.m. So that's when you have your final for your 1945 class, Management 1945 class. So you go through each of your classes, you can figure out when your finals are, then you can figure out when your last final is, and then you know that you need to depart within 24 hours of your last final. So as soon as you have your class schedule, families, I know a lot of you are interested in, especially if you're out of state, wanting to make those airline arrangements. As soon as they have their finalized schedule, you can figure out when their last final is and go ahead and very confidently make those arrangements. Graduation and commissioning is posted on here, but that is never a required activity for underclassmen at all. So that just wanted to let you know. Now for January coming back, always get a lot of questions on this. Unfortunately, it's a little bit determined by which battalion you're in. You will definitely know before your cadet will know before they leave what the situation is. But just for general planning, the typical schedule is you can arrive after noon on Friday through, but no later than 6 p.m. on Monday. The truth is, I think they sometimes make it start at 10 a.m. on the 18th, so we can get the RAs back first and get them settled so that they can help with move-in. So the Corps may be telling you not to move in until after 10 a.m. on Saturday, but your cadet will know this before they depart, but that's the general rule. And then I put this link here, housing.vt.edu contract/events. That is a great resource. That is housing telling you what they're telling every student on campus about all of the breaks and holidays. So be aware of that. Let's see, let me answer some questions. Are we allowed to waterproof our issued boots or do we leave them alone? Don't mess with your boots. Don't touch them. Your cadre will light you up, okay? So don't mess with your boots. Wait until your cadre have a chance to train you, and then you can do whatever you need to do from there. But please don't mess with them before you get here. All right, that's a formula for not some fun. Can cadets still get into the UVA game for free, even though it's not required? The answer is yes. What they have typically done, and again, I'm not in charge of athletics, so take this with a grain of salt as always. But what they've typically done is they don't want to leave a big old blank right behind the field goal, right? And the Corps is usually there. So what they will offer up is tickets to cadets. They can sign up. We tell them all about the process. They can sign up and they can actually attend that game in civilian clothes. And it's a lot of fun. Of course, it's a lot of, especially juniors and seniors like to go back for that game. So As a freshman, you probably want to go home and be with your family. But if you are from nearby and you want to go to the UVA game, you can put in for that. And usually you can attend that football game in your civilian clothes. If you need to book flights to come home for Thanksgiving, do we need to get the flight time departures approved by someone? So you should think of, that's why I'm kind of trying to put these timelines in here. You probably want a flight that gets in before 6 p.m. on Monday. And then as far as coming in, I would say if you went so that your student wasn't arriving on campus until after 10 a.m. on Saturday, that would be a really good window to not bust past 6 p.m. on Sunday or on Monday and to get here after 10 a.m. on the 18th. So hopefully that will help for that. And then of course you'll know the last final and you can plan from there for those flights out and then the flights back. That's why I'm kind of showing this slide. Okay, so good information to have. That last page of the new cadet guide, I just think you should print it and put it on your refrigerator because it has their physical address. It has our week in the life. This is great information to put on your refrigerator. The family guide came in today and we will be handing that out and putting it in your new cadet room. So that should be sitting on your desk when you arrive. That family guide is a great resource for families. It focuses a lot more on things that you'll probably be interested at that point in time. And so we will have that on your new cadet's desk. So while you're moving in, you can pick it up and start perusing it. The new cadet guide and packing list, we're still in the middle of that. That's a great resource if you have questions. And then you can check the core calendar on the core website, which is the one that I was using in the background for that. But know that that doesn't include ROTC events. So make sure, just be sure to take those things into account. Are there other activities for the band that aren't on that calendar? Yes, but not normally on weekends per se. In the spring semester, we do some trips that won't be on that calendar. But in the fall, I can't think of any other than, our normal football game kind of things. Maybe the Veterans Day parade, if they get asked to go up there. There might be a couple more. But the band will definitely, they have their own website and they will put that up and share that with the band. And it, never had cadets really have issues with that. So once you get here, you'll know what's going on. Do you know if there are bus services to large airports for breaks? Yes. So some choices that you have are listed in the new cadet guides, but the Metro bus, the Virginia Breeze. What else am I missing? I'll see if any come up. But there's a couple bus services that will take you to the airport. There's some that'll take you to the smaller. You can use one of the shuttles that'll take you for $4 to the Roanoke Airport. So if you want to fly out of Roanoke, they increase that to a bigger bus around the holidays, knowing that they're going to have an increased volume. The megabus, you can use the megabus to get to Northern Virginia, for example. It stops off at colleges on the way up. So Rome to Rio is one of my favorites for that. So if I were to, I like RomeToRio.com. Again, just a random, don't hold me responsible for their website, but I like to use it because it goes door to door. So, it covers all that little pieces on the end that are sometimes hard to figure out, in addition to the airline kind of stuff. So if you're looking for the details of how do I get to all these pieces, and connect the dots, the Rome to Rio is a great website. Is it possible for the family guide to be accessible online for families out of state? It is. We will be working on that here in this coming, once our communicator, she returns from vacation, we'll be asking her if she's willing to post that online. So it'll be under resources on the core website. Last year's is up there. There were very few changes, so feel free to take a peek there. It's the family guide for 2023. And it's on our resources page, but 2024, we hope to have up in the next week or so. Okay. All right, I know I kind of did a huge download today. Are there any questions that we can answer? Let's see. You have 2 leaves per semester. as a freshman. Leaves mean that you can go outside of 50 miles. If you're looking for a description of this, it's both in the Family Guide, even the 2023 Family Guide has this description, and it's in the New Cadet Guide. So please check those out. You can read what a difference is between a leave and a pass. And you have 2 leaves per semester to go home. But like, as you saw, as we were going through that calendar, there really weren't a ton of options, right? Fall break was definitely one of them. Thanksgiving, you don't have to use a leave to go. That's a holiday. You don't have to use it for winter break, right? So, you know, it's kind of limited in how you could get a second leave in, but if you need it, it is there. Will there be additional uniform requirements for specific ROTCs? Absolutely. The ROTCs will tell you about that. Can we get a copy of your slide deck? Well, not so much the slide deck, but I will be posting the slide deck on Canvas. I will also be posting the YouTube video with some of the links in the description of the YouTube video, and we'll push that out as well. On the packing list, one of the items was 5-inch scissors. Does it mean a 5-inch blade or 5-inch long scissors? I think, 5-inch long, I'm thinking those are pretty tiny. You are going to have to cut some things that are a little bit bigger. So what they're thinking there is a 5-inch blade. The university has restrictions on 6-inch blades. So please don't do 6-inch blades on your scissors, but 5-inch blades, right? Like a regular pair of scissors you might use in the kitchen, for example. That's kind of the length they're looking for. Because there is some stuff that you have to cut. Might have to cut your hat plastic. You're going to want something other than the little tiny scissors you had in kindergarten, right? So those are 5-inch blades. What, if anything, should we have memorized or covered in the guidon before we arrive? I like your question, Colm. Everything, I think, is the answer. I think if I were to start, I would read about the history of the Corps just to have a basic idea on that. I would look a lot at the ranks, right? The better you understand ranks, the better off you're going to be for some of the struggles right there at the beginning of being able to greet people. So if I had to focus, I'd focus on that. But in general, you're going to memorize that entire book. So, whatever you're willing to tackle this early on, I think you should. But if I were like, oh, I don't have enough time for that, I'd focus on the ranks as number 1 and then reading the history of the Corps. Do cadets need to have their own printer in the room? I think so. There's still quite a bit that needs to be scanned and uploaded. So a printer with a scanner, I think, is very important still. Cadets pretty much want their own printer and scanner from everybody I've talked to. Are we allowed to bring a lockbox for our dorm? Sure. I don't see a problem for that. If you feel the need, you can definitely bring one. Okay. Let's see, anything else sitting out there that folks would like to know? Okay, well, thank you. So we have one more town hall scheduled for July 31st. That will be focused on going back over especially if there's any changes, the move-in policy, the move-in process. So we'll talk about what you need to bring, how to arrive, how to go to unloading, where to go to park. We'll go through all the maps one more time that if you've already come for orientation, you've already seen, but we will reiterate it one more time, especially if there's any last second changes. We'll go back over that during the July 31st town hall. So it'll be very focused on arrival, and hopefully that'll be, I'll also be able to give you an update on room assignments and how that's going. So because room assignments are hopefully that we're going to be making them that week, and I'll have a much better idea for you about when we think they'll hit star res. So I'll have that update for you during the July 31st town hall, and we'll go back over the process for moving in. Oh, looks like we have some questions. Hold on here. Oh, what is the so Tommy, please look that up. Right now I'm drawing a complete blank. I think it's MS, as M as in Michael, S as in Sierra, for the Army classes. So Army classes should be listed under MS, military science. And then you can find I don't know if it's 1005, I can't remember right now, but look in that class handout. It has all of the courses specifically and the CRNs. So that we make sure you're absolutely in the right classes. So please check that out. For the printer and items not needed for New Cadet Week, should we hold off until the parade to bring? You can, but here's the deal. Your family can help you move in during new cadet check-in. Your family's not allowed up into the residence halls at after the parade. So it's up to you whether you want mom and dad to help you get it up there, or you want to put it into one of the baskets and take it up that way, or whether you want to carry it. I think that would be the only thing that would kind of determine where you want to bring that. Can you bring a desktop computer to your dorm? Absolutely. You should look at your college. Your college has a computer requirement. It's linked to in the new cadet guide. And check your college's requirements for computers. Some of them may say laptop these days, so you may want to check that. But if your college is telling you it's okay to have a desktop, then absolutely you can bring a desktop. I think you will find a lot of some of the colleges may be going to laptops only. So, but nothing says you can't have a desktop in your room and a laptop you take with you. So just check your college on what they're telling you. Can you talk a little bit about the parade at the end of New Cadet Week? Sure. The parade will start at 10 a.m. Will end right around 10:45, 11. Your cadets will then proceed back to their residence halls. They're going to they're going to put their rifles back where they belong. They're going to change into Hokie bag, probably collect their laundry to come back and see you. They will get their cell phones returned to them. And at that point that you will have to stay outside the building, but they will have their cell phones and then you can connect and you can tell them where you're located, text them and say, hey, I'm over here, and you'll reconnect with your cadet. And then they are yours from then until 4 p.m. on Sunday. So that's different than our normal 6 p.m. It's 4 p.m. on Sunday. If you're interested, I think it's a very cool picture. The university usually has the freshman class go over and form a VT over at the football field, and they take a picture of the class based on the year of 2028. So they'll put that up. And it's a cool picture to have. And the cadets, sometimes we wear something that kind of defines us. For example, maybe our white covers or something like that. And we'll form the outline of the VT. So we've got to go do that. So we need everybody back by 4 so we can make that happen. But they're yours. You can stay within 50 miles of campus. New cadets, you have to wear your Hokie bag anytime you're outside the hotel. If you're in the hotel going to the pool, you could be in your swimsuits, right? But if you are going to dinner, you need to be in your Hokie bag. You need to be in your uniform for any time that you're out and about, but you can stay with your family over that period of time. Out of pure curiosity, is there anything against gaming devices? I obviously can't have a TV, but could I bring a gaming device? The answer is yes. However, you are not going to be allowed to play it until at least 6 weeks in. Okay, so first 6 weeks, you won't be able to use your Switch or whatever gaming device you want to bring. But they are very popular in the Corps, and a lot of cadets have them. But as a new cadet, you won't be allowed to use it for the first 6 weeks. So maybe leave it home until Thanksgiving, right? But I understand where that question comes from. My daughter's huge into her Switch. So, but you're allowed to bring it. You just probably won't be allowed to use it for the first 6 weeks. Is there any dress requirement for orientation on Friday? No, not really. We're seeing a wide variety of what students are wearing. It is hot in Virginia in July, so shorts and a t-shirt are absolutely okay. If your student hasn't taken their Hokie passport picture yet, and you want them in a collared shirt or something, that might be something to do, but it's pretty relaxed there's no set dress code for orientation itself. Is the parade live streamed? It's kind of a trick question. There is, and I probably shouldn't tell you this, but there is a video camera on Burris that looks down on the drill field. It can only handle a very small number of people being logged into it. So theoretically, you could see the parade. However, there's just not, we have tried many times to think of ways to actually live stream the parade, but the internet coverage out there is just not great. And so we haven't been able to find a way to nicely stream a parade in the middle of the drill field just because of connections. So no, unfortunately, the parade will not be live streamed, but if you wanted to peek for just a few moments and see it in a big picture, probably wouldn't be able to see your students, but you could peek on the camera that's located on Burris Hall. For orientation, are parents required to attend if the cadet is 18? No, not required. We do have programming for parents, family members. I think it's important. I think that's very important. But it's up to you. I know life is complicated, so your parents do not have to attend orientation. But we do have a lot of programming for parents when you're here, so you have an opportunity to talk to our scholarship officer. You can hear from well-being here on campus. So lots of different opportunities for you if you do come. Will the parade be recorded? No, it will not, unfortunately. Okay. Oh, and if I need to mention, did I not say, I'm sorry, did I say the wrong day? There is Friday, August 16th is a Friday, in case I screwed that up. I probably did. Yes, this is being recorded, by the way, and will be posted to Canvas. And then as soon as I get it up to YouTube, I will send the link out to it on YouTube. So yes, it'll be available for you to watch later. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. Like I said, it is recorded. I'm gonna try to upload to YouTube as soon as it gives it to me. And thank you for coming. And of course, we're always available, core@vt.edu. That's Miss Cup, Miss Stewart, myself. We're the recruiting team. We are here to help you if you have questions. So please reach out. There's no such thing as a stupid question when it comes to coming into the Corps. We know that this is can be a stressful thing, and we want to make it easier for you. So thank you for coming. All right, have a good night.